Happy Sunday. Erika Robinson here from In the Company of Cards. This is a channel where I use Lenormand to look at the big questions of the day. I am the author of Erika's Lenormand of Hope. It's the deck that I'll be using to do these readings, as well as the book, The Language of Lenormand, available, as they say, wherever books are sold. Okay. Would love it if you would subscribe, like, and share. And, as today is Sunday, I had this great idea that I would do something that would be calming, quiet, and comfortable for my viewers. But no, not today. I don't think so. Maybe for another Sunday. This Sunday's already cranking up to be pretty intense. So I don't want to not acknowledge that. So I thought that I would start off with kind of a tabloidy type question. I don't want this to be, again, the National Enquirer of Lenormand channels on YouTube, but couldn't help myself. And I would just like to take a look at Laura Loomer. She is the 31-year-old ultra right wing new best friend of 45. Kind of a a Xerox copy wannabe of wife number 3. And the Xerox needs some ink in it. Just saying. But anyway, what I would like to look at is her trajectory. She has poured some really kind of outlandish things into 45's ear, and then those things come out of 45's mouth. And she's kind of a lunatic, entertainment purposes only. And I just want to see if she will rise in the ranks or fall. So I'm just going to look at her trajectory. So she's young, she's 31. So I hear she doesn't look 31, but they say she's 31. She looks older to me. Maybe it's the makeup, I don't know. And I'm going to use the young woman in the deck and then just see what's around her. So here you go, so you can follow along with my process. Cards are already shuffled, and she's not at the bottom of the deck, although look what is, just saying. And I'm going to flip cards until I get to the young woman, and that will stand for Laura Loomer. If you want to know more about her, of course, just do a Google search, but I think I've pretty much told you the outline of who she is. Right-wing extremist in 45's ear. Okay, here she is. My young woman looks so young and fresh and innocent. So it's not the best card for Laura Loomer, but it will have to do. And I'm taking the 2 cards before her and putting them to the left of her. And then I have cards in my hand, only 2, and putting those to the right of her. Ooh, look at that. Okay, I am going to pull clarifiers on these, but as you see, the original line of 5 is the Tower, the Heart, Laura Loomer, the Ring, and the Coffin. Okay. So before I talk about that line, I'm going to pull just one clarifier, I think, for each of those original 5 cards. Okay, so the original cards, again, were the Tower, the Heart, Laura Loomer, the Ring, and the Coffin. That's the card that was at the bottom of the deck in the first place, so that's interesting. So, the Tower. This is the seat of power. It's one of the meanings, of course. of the tower. It's the seat of power. It's the card for government, for example. But here it stands for the seat of power. Of course, she wants to be close to the seat of power. She wants to be loved by whoever is in the seat of power. And since that's Harris is not going to love her, she's going to go with Trump, obviously. Loomer in the middle. And then we have these final two cards. So what could they mean? And then I'll do some mirroring. We have the ring and the coffin. The ring here to me, well, I mean, in her own mind only, she could envision herself as being wife number 4. That's not going to happen. I'm not saying that wife number 3 is not going to divorce him, but I'm saying Laura Loomer is not going to be wife number 4. How do I know? The coffin tells me so. But ring and coffin also tell me something else. There is a circular nature to this young woman's thinking. Like she's in a loop, and the loop is just this crazy loop of conspiracy theories, etc. And this is the card for illness. I think she is trapped in mental illness, much like the apple of her eye, 45, entertainment purposes only. Now, I can mirror some things. Um, the second card is the heart. I can mirror that with the fourth card. So when I mirror the heart with the ring, I do think she's kind of in love with him or in love with his power, supposed power. That's what I think. And I do think she thinks that she could get close enough to him to be number 4. I mean, he did it 3 times. What's to say he won't do it a 4th? That's what she thinks. I can also mirror the tower card with the coffin. She will be kept from getting too close to that seat of power. She will not be Lady Macbeth to his Macbeth. But beyond that, I can read this another way, this pairing, this mirroring of these two cards. Feels to me like psychiatric facility. This is a card for facilities. This is the card for illness. She's clearly mentally ill, entertainment purposes only. I think she will end up in a mental health facility, and it won't be the first time, I don't think. Now, I drew clarifiers for each of those cards. And so on the tower, I drew the mountain. She may very well want to be close to the seat of 45's power, but she will be blocked. Not by 45 necessarily, because, but by his handlers. She's not a good look for his image, according to his handlers. And so she will be blocked. Okay. She is kind of in love with him, or in love with the idea of being in love with him, or in love with his power. But that speaks to her mental health. Remember, this is the card for health in all forms. We're talking mental health. I think she is misguided, we'll just say. This is her, and she is being talked about. I mean, here I am talking about her on a Sunday on my channel. She likes that. She enjoys being the subject of conversation, no matter how crazy and out of the box her theories are, no matter how crazy people say she is or think she is, as long as she is the topic of conversation, she's happy. Again, this is not unlike 45. All he cares about 2 things, and that is crowd size. Well, 3 things, not going to jail is one, crowd size and ratings. So they are kind of birds of a feather, so to speak, which explains why she was able to get as close to him as she has. She believes that her loyalty to him, because the ring is a card of loyalty and fidelity, will be rewarded. This is what she thinks. But her mental illness, to those who haven't seen it yet, will very soon be abundantly clear and on display for all to see. So I think that her tenure as his wannabe fourth wife will ultimately be short-lived. So that's our tabloidy question for the week. I don't want to do any more tabloidy questions. I don't mind them once in a while, because but yeah, they make you want to go wash your hands and face and hair and everything else. Okay. Or Laura. Okay. The next question is from a UK viewer. And I also don't want to necessarily have this become a channel that is apocalyptic, right? Any more than I want it to be tabloidy. On the other hand, I will continue to solicit questions from you, and we'll try to answer them as best as I and my cards can. So this question was about whether or not there is an impending terrorist attack coming for London between now and the end of the year. Now, part of me agrees with some astrologers who say, why look at this? Because if you can't change it, you can't change it. If you're going to go, you're going to go. And there's a theory that, whatever you pay attention to is the thing that grows. The wolf that you feed is the one that grows. But I also am of the school that says forewarned is forearmed. Maybe it'll make people keep their eye open a little wider, their head on the swivel a little more, as they sort of remain aware of their surroundings. I don't know, but I have no idea what the cards are going to say. But I'm going to look for a terrorist attack by using the word of the card scythe, because the scythe is a weapon, right? And so that would be an attack. Okay, will there be a major terror attack in London between now and the end of the year? So I'm just gonna move the camera again down, and I'm cutting the deck into 3. And I'm gonna look for the scythe, but look what's on the bottom of the deck, the stork. So that's good. I like that. Okay. Looking for the scythe. Okay. So here's the scythe, and this would stand for any potential terrorist attack. And I'm putting the 2 cards to the left, and then the 2 cards here to the right. Okay. And I'm just going to make this a 5 card. We have the cross, the tower, the scythe, the mice, the coffin. All right, so let's talk about those for a second. 9 times out of 10, I don't love the cross, because the cross is a card of pain. Obviously, a terror attack would cause pain. I can mirror that with the last card, which is the coffin. But let me just say that one of the meanings for coffin is an ending, an ending. So it could very well be that there will be a terror attack planned, but that it will be thwarted, that it will be stopped in time. The second card, the one next to the cross, is the tower. And I feel like to the extent that there's an attack planned, I think that there is, it will be on, I think, some governmental facility or agency, some governmental building, somewhere in the heart of, let's say, London. Yeah. The center card, of course, is our scythe. And then we have, as our 4th card, mice. Now, mice, of course, on the one hand, is a card for worry, fear, stress, anxiety, and I am not trying to cause any of that. Um, but you know what? It also can eat away at the cards around it. If the card before it is the scythe and then it's followed by the mice, it says to me that this attack plan will end up being less significant than was intended because it's this card eats away at this card. And of course, the last card is the coffin. And so, you know, eating away at that plot, which is the scythe, could mean that the plot is foiled. I am sure that the authorities are aware of all of this and are on the case. And so don't be surprised if you don't hear about a thwarted attack, a terrorist attack in London, an attack that gets stopped in its tracks. And, maybe it'll be so stopped in its tracks that we won't even hear about it. I don't know. I hope that's true. But to pull these cards, which is, let me just show you again, the cross, the tower, the scythe, the mice, and the coffin. It's very clear that they're all speaking to the topic that is in question, because they all seem serious and angsty and unpleasant. But I do think when I actually read the line, any attempt will end up being of lesser significance than originally intended, and it could be altogether thwarted by the authorities. So just, heads up, as they say. Okay, speaking of heads up, just before I came on here, uh, I got a news alert on my phone that shots had been fired at Mar-a-Lago or in the vicinity of. And the message was that 45 was fine. So, were people duck hunting? What were those? Oh, I get it, get it, duck. Uh, Donald, just saying. Um, what was that? Was that an attempt? So I think that what I want to do is just look at 45's health for the rest of this month. Apparently September, astrologically speaking, is a fraught month for him, a difficult month for him. And, certainly it is legally, but is it in other ways? So I want to look at his health. So for that, I'm going to use the tree. Spirit knows that I'm talking about the health of 45. Tree is the card for health. And I am intending that we're looking at 45's health just for the second half of this month. Okay, so let's find our tree. We have the lily at the bottom, so that's good. Okay, tree popped up pretty fast. There's our tree. These are the two cards that come before it and the two cards that come after it. Okay, so we have the anchor, we have the cross, we have the tree, we have the book, and we have the child. All right, I'm just gonna come back up to you, and then I'm going to pull, I think I want to pull two clarifiers on each of these cards. Okay, so first card, if you recall, was the anchor. And the anchor to me, remember, I always say an anchor can keep you safe or it can keep you stuck, right? Um, and so I have to figure out, well, which one are we talking about? Is he safe or is he stuck? Well, the card that follows is the cross. And this tells me that no, he's not safe and that he will continue to not be safe. The cross is a card of pain. I think he will be in danger from a variety of sources. Now, remember, we're talking about health. I think his internal system, his physicality itself, is starting to turn on him, which is why people are talking about, diminished cognitive ability. He's overweight. His diet sucks. He doesn't sleep. So there's all of that going on. And then there are whatever forces there are out in the world that are none too thrilled with him. And some of those forces are closer to him than he thinks. Okay. The third card, of course, was the tree. That's the health card. The fourth card's very interesting because it's the book. So here we are warned that his health is still in danger from any number of sources. He's not safe. He's stuck in this dangerous energy of the cross here. And it's actually what I just said. Remember that the book in Lenormand refers to things we don't know. So he may think, for example, that people who don't like him would be people on the left or Democrats or whatever. But there are arrows coming at him from all sides, foreign and domestic. Some of them people whom he would think would be his people. So he doesn't know, it's like, talk about the head swiveling. He doesn't know which way to look because there's danger on every side of him. And we have the child. And this is something new, something small. So again, if he thinks that the danger is coming from a certain direction, he's not looking in the right place, and his people are not looking in the right place. It could come from out in left field. Perhaps someone young, because the child is young. So I think his health will be precarious, and by health, I mean both his internal system and also the forces that are arrayed against him out in the world. So I pulled a couple of clarifiers for each of those original 5 cards. So for the anchor, which we have determined is him being stuck in this dangerous energy, we have the key and we have stars. And normally key and star are really nice cards, right? The stars is the future, key is the answer, etc. I feel like given the nature of the question, this stuckness will end up, I feel like, being his undoing in the future. That I feel like he will never have another, not that he ever has had, another calm night. I think he's just besieged and barraged from all sides, including inside his own mind. I just think he's stuck. His energy is stuck and stagnant, and therefore in danger because it can't be quick moving and agile and adaptable. Okay. Now, the next card is the cross, and as we've seen already today, I mean, that's the cross is the card of pain. And as if we didn't get the point, whoa, look at the clarifiers. We have the snake and we have the scythe. There are forces, arrayed against him. The snake is trouble, problems, danger. And again, as if that wasn't enough, we have the scythe. The scythe, this is a weapon. It's true, your weapon, the weapon could be his own body or mind turning against him, but it could be from outside. I don't know what those shots were about Mar-a-Lago and we don't know yet because it hasn't been reported as of this recording, as they say. But I think he's in real danger this month. Now, tree. This is the card for health. This is the central card, the card right in the middle. And this is very interesting. We have the lily and we have Trump. I mean, nobody could possibly enjoy this level of frenetic, worrisome stress. And there is a part of him that just wants to be left alone, just wants peace. I mean, he cannot hop off the merry-go-round. It's a little late for that. And of course, if he hops off the merry-go-round, he's hopping from the frying pan into the fire, because then he is more susceptible to incarceration at some point, we'll just say. And that's, of course, one of his major reasons for running, is that he wants to be able to eliminate some of these cases against him. He just wants peace. But I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to get it. Now, remember, the book is about what we don't know. And what neither we nor he knows is what directions these enemies are coming from. You know, where is the snake? What's that all about? Well, the clarifiers for the book are the coffin and the scales. The phrase that came to me is, and by the way, this is true for all of us, so YouTube, his end is just a matter of time, as is true for all of us, is it not? But we're looking at the month of September. I think he's got a really rocky road ahead. I don't like this. Okay. I mean, I could get hit crossing the street today, and he could be at my funeral saying, "Sucker, you went first." That's true, because we know not the day nor the hour. None of us does. But the fact that these are the clarifiers for what he does, what we don't know, I think his time among us is counting down, we'll just say. Now, the child. This could be something new coming out of left field that he doesn't expect. The clarifiers are the garden and the house. This is very interesting, because the garden and the house are actually opposite cards from each other. The garden is the public, everybody out there, all over the world and just outside your front door, just people everywhere. This is closer to you, your own house, your own table, your own bed. There are enemies coming at him from all sides, both out there and inside. I can mirror the first card on the left with this last card, and it's the anchor. So I think, look, if somebody was firing shots in Mar-a-Lago, how did they get into Mar-a-Lago? I mean, how did they get in there? That speaks to this more than it does to this. I mean, I don't have the ID or the money or the notoriety to get in here, but there are people who do. And these are people who mean him no good thing. So his source of his danger could come from someplace he didn't expect, someplace new, but I also think closer to him than he would ever anticipate. So, boy, this is a calm Sunday walk through the cards, isn't it? I think Whoopi Goldberg from Ghost, I hear it. You in danger, boy. He's in danger. And we're not talking only about political danger. His physical self is in danger, either from his own body betraying him, or paying him back for years of ill usage, or there are people close to him who mean him no good. So let me end with what I had hoped that the entire video would be about, but needs must, and the news is what the news is. So let me, though, end in the way that I hope that Sundays will be for the whole video moving forward. And that is with a question that will maybe be helpful for all of us. What might be our best practices for keeping our equilibrium for this next week? So I mean this reading for the collective. What might be our best practices for ourselves, to keep equilibrium in this next week? Because things are getting, they're spinning faster and faster and faster, and more and more and more furiously. And we need to keep our heads about us. If you're not registered to vote, register to vote. If you can, give money to the candidate of your choice if it's Kamala. Because if it's Trump, why are you here? If you can write postcards, write postcards. I'm doing that again this week. But what other things can we do to keep ourselves calm and centered this week? And I think that what I'll do is I will look for the lily, and the lily will be, as I kill a spider that was on my wall. The lily will be the lily will be the card for calm, ease, equilibrium for the collective. Okay. All right. So I'm going to cut into 3. And just, okay, that's crazy. It's the first card. So because it's the first card, I can only pull cards after it. So we're going to leave that there. And okay. Interesting. So we have the lily, the snake, the tree, crossroads, and the older man. Gotta say, I don't think this answered the question for us. I really don't. I think that the energy of the cards seems like it's still stuck on the previous question. Which is weird. So Lily is that piece, that equilibrium that I'm saying that we're all going to need this week. How do we get it? Because there's going to be trouble all around us, again, ramping up. The tree is the card for health. So to whatever degree you have a practice that you engage in, like yoga, I like to walk. If you meditate, if you read, don't read the news, read something that brings you joy and peace and calm. Eat clean food, drink clean water. Don't drink alcohol, or if you do, don't drink to excess. If you smoke, what are you doing? Quit. This is all about health and the things that we need to do to keep healthy in body, mind, and spirit. I'll draw a couple of clarifiers on this in a minute. And then we have crossroads and the older man. Now, I like this crossroads card because here it's talking about alternatives. So one of the ways that we can keep our equilibrium this way is to come up with alternatives to obsessing about 45. Listen to music instead of news. Keep your hands busy. I like to knit. Come up with alternatives to being focused on him, because the energy around him is scary and dangerous. And the best way to bring ourselves peace is Lily and Crossroads. Peace comes from taking a break from the news, which is kind of what I had hoped I would do in this video. It didn't work out like that, but moving forward, that's what I will try to do for us on Sundays. But here it's saying take a break from the news for the sake of your mental health and your peace of mind. All right, let me draw a couple of clarifiers on the tree. And also a couple of clarifiers on Crossroads. Really interesting. Okay. So, and I drew a couple of clarifiers for the lily. So this is our peace of mind, right? Clarifiers I drew for that are the ring and the scythe. So if we are in a loop, right, of news input, news consumption, we're in that loop, we need to cut the loop, cut the circle, do something else. Don't obsess about news. Okay. Now, for the tree itself, which is the card for health, the clarifiers are fish and clouds. We need to break this cycle and do the activities and think about the things and focus our minds on the things that we love. Because these two cards are emotion, and this is about, doubts, worry, cloudy thinking, mental health. So our mental health needs to be at the top of our priority list. Now, I also drew, finally, cards on the crossroads. This is alternative stuff that we can do. Again, play music, listen to music, go for walks, knit, do yoga, walk. Well, I said walk twice. Walk. Because we have to remember who we are, who we were before all of this mess. We have to come back to ourselves. And the news makes it really hard to do that. It just feels like we ourselves are anchored in that murky water along with 45 and Laura Loomer and everybody else. But it's important that we come back to self, even if that means sitting at that mountain for a while to figure out, well, what does that even mean? I don't even know who I am, who I was before, the golden escalator moment. Well, then it's time to sort of look for your alternative practices that will bring you back to who you are. If you don't have such practices, figure out what you might enjoy and try something new. Because, we don't deserve to be caught up in his drama any more than we already have been. The best we can do is vote him out and keep ourselves sane. So I hope that for me, as much as I do for you, happy Sunday. I will see you during the week with more news, of course, and other questions that you may have posed for me. Please, if you have questions, just put them in the comments and I'll try to look at them. And I'd love it if you liked and subscribed. Thanks so much for watching. Happy Sunday.